Once again, namaste and warm welcome to everyone. I am Srishti Thapa, moderator for today's webinar that is Hope Bearers Stories that Inspire Change. I am voluntarily working as Secretary of Merit Pokhara since a year. Well, Merit Pokhara is a youth led charity organization working as a local council of World Merit since 2017. Since the time of establishment, we have been organizing various events and campaigns associated with technical education, entrepreneurship, social status upliftment, and exposure enhancement with the vision to create sustainable and positive social impact in the real world under the UN SDG goals. So today, on the occasion of World Merit Day as a celebration, we have organized this intriguing webinar on hope bearers, stories that inspire change. With the belief to reignite hope and create positivity in young community, we have organized this exclusively interesting experience sharing session with the distinguished national as well as international activists and campaigners whose contribution have remarkable positive impact and their action has been the source of inspiration for thousands of people regionally as well as globally. I'm really excited for the session and to hear out the impact stories of our speakers, and I'm sure you all are also. Hence, without any further ado, I would like to formally start the session now and call out our first speaker. So today we have Carlos Teensma from Netherlands as our first speaker. Well, Carlo is a founder of Green Rebel, who is focused to ensure good food enriching the life. He is on the mission to bring transition to regenerate system and produce food on natural way, which ensure biodiversity, improve soil, and become more resilient to extreme weather conditions. He is also serving as at World Merit as community engagement manager. So let's welcome him and hear out his inspiring story. So Carlo, you there?
Hello, Srishti. Hello, everyone. Thank you for that incredible introduction. Very, very excited to be here today with all of you. Happy World Merit Day to every single one of you. That's part of this webinar and that's watching this every meriter around the world. I'm super humbly excited, but proud to be part of World Merit, the community that has been founded in 2013, and along the journey it has organized incredible events by the community everywhere in the world, whether it's in Pokhara, whether it's in Nigeria, whether it's in New York City. It's fascinating to see everyone tackling the sustainable development goals at the grassroots from within the communities at different levels, and I feel very proud to be part of that. And a couple of highlights today of the World Merit Day. Um, since the launch, I think we can all agree that the inauguration in 2014 was an incredible one. I sincerely regret that I haven't been part of World Merit earlier. I joined last year, more or less 1 year ago. But in 2014, it was inaugurated with Malala, Sir Ken Robinson, and World Merit had incredible events like Merit 360 in New York. We had the Council Summit. We had World Merit Summit last year in Morocco, and it's just an incredible online and offline community. And I think an event like this shows the power, the inspiration, but not just the inspiration, but also the real action. So that's what I really appreciate and admire of every one of you. Is it's not just talk, it's let's get shit done. So let's talk a bit about let's get shit done as well, and make tangible impact, because that's what I am trying to do with the Green Rebel. I started 2 weeks ago on a journey to disrupt the food industries, and as some of you may know, the food industry is by far the most inefficient industry around the world, and it's the most harmful, not just to our health, not just to our oceans, but to the entire planet. It emits the most carbon dioxide. It's responsible for the ocean dead zones and for the massive loss of biodiversity. I think if of the 28,000 species that are endangered, agriculture is responsible for 24,000 of them. So if we don't act fast as a consumer and as a producer, we are it's a very dangerous situation, and it's not just the climate change that's very dangerous, but with the loss of biodiversity like bees, pollinators, but also with the lack of topsoil, the upper part of the soil that every vegetation needs for all the nutrients to grow, where all the life is. There is much more life below the ground in the soil than above the soil, which unfortunately we can't see with the naked eye, but it's so important that we take more care of it. So my personal mission is to disrupt the food industries from within. Sorry, for the last 2 years, I have become more and more aware of what's going on in the food industry. And I'm not just talking about the animal agriculture, where more than 65 billion animals are slaughtered every year for consumption. We're not even talking about the trillions of fishes in the ocean, which is horrific for animal welfare. I'm also talking about the inefficient land use and the water use and the pollution. And I've tried to do some activism online and offline, on the streets, on social media, talking with people to raise awareness, to stimulate responsible consumption. But I've also found out that by just aiming at the consumption, it goes very small and the steps are very little. And sometimes I had the feeling, how can I rebel against these industries if I'm not part of it, right? It's always easy to have criticism on certain systems when you're not part of it yourself. I'm not a farmer, I'm not a producer. So 1 year ago, I saw a documentary about a Swiss farmer in Brazil, and what he is doing is incredible. He produces the best cacao beans in the world in a system that mimics nature. So if you think of agriculture, probably you think of one big field of corn or of maize or potatoes or rice. That way of agriculture is very unnatural. If you think of a piece of ground, soil, nature that is untouched by humans, how does it look like? Does it look like a field with one crop? Or does it look like a forest with a lot of diversity of species, of trees, of flowers, of weeds, of herbs, of medicinal vegetation? Probably like that, right? So why don't we produce food in the same way? In a natural way, if we understand nature, how it grows, how it's a very resilient system, it becomes so much stronger and more secure for all of us to produce food. Because with climate change, we are getting more and more extreme weather conditions, and we need to secure our food on the long run. And if we are getting floods or droughts, monoculture, the soil isn't prepared for that. But if you look at the forest is so resilient with all the root system that it has below the ground. It is so strong that it can have a reservoir of water. If there is a drought, if there is flood of water, it can capture so much water, so much more than if there is just one crop, because there is an entire web of roots below the ground and of life, micro life that we can see that can harness that. It's incredible, and I would really invite you to join me on this adventure, on this not just an adventure, but just this so important journey to a more responsible food consumption and production. So I would love to. I don't think I have the time now to really take you on with me on all why. So I would invite you, please have a look at either Instagram or Facebook of the Green Rebel. And I'm trying to raise awareness there of everything, how deep the crisis currently is in the food industry. That I would just invite you with me on this journey, and I will promote some documentaries. If you're open, if you're interested for some documentaries, I will put them here in the chat. So let me know if you're interested in what kind of topic. So I think I would love to have the rest of these minutes. I don't know how much I have, for you to have some questions that we can have a small dialogue. Do you have any questions? Am I audible? Maybe I should have asked if I was audible earlier.
Thank you, Carlo, for your wonderful time and your wonderful presentation. If you have any questions, please type on a chat box. Let me see if there is any questions. So I think we don't have any questions. And thank you, Carlo. This is definitely an innovative idea to, promote biodiversity, to promote flora and fauna, and enhance the agriculture system.
Absolutely. Have you ever heard of agroforestry? This is the term that I want to explore. Agroforestry.
Yeah, this term are similar, but we have to know in detail.
Okay.
Okay, best wishes for you and for your project, Carlo.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And thank you for inviting me for this session. Very inspirational, and all the best. Have a great World Merit Day, all. Ciao. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much. All right. This is really a wonderful beginning, I would say. Unfortunately, Dr. Nadia wouldn't be with us. We are extremely sorry for her loss. So we would like to express our sincere condolence to her family. All right, moving forward. Now we would have our second speaker, Nisma Chowdhury from Nepal. She is a television presenter and event host. She is the founder of The Missing Counselor, an initiative center solving mental health issue faced by youths. Currently, she is also doing a podcast called The Good Health, which focuses on different aspects of health-related issue. So it would be, more flexible if we get to know about this in detail from Nishma. So Nishma, please, all yours.
Thank you so much. Am I audible? I'm not sure if my internet is fine.
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Okay, thank you. Hello, namaste, everyone. I'm Nishma Chaudhary. I'm from Nepal. I think it's very important to tell my country loud and proud here because I can see the list of speakers. They're from different places, and it's so wonderful. Thank you so much, Merit Pokhara Sanjay, for having me today here. And happy World Merit Day. I actually went through everybody's profile. The profile is going to be a little different from maybe I don't know what you all are expecting. So I have my story and I have story of why I chose to work on mental health. So my story would actually go back to the dawn of existence of human beings because we've been living in a group for a very long time, and that is why we are the strongest of species. But that has also been a sort of curse for us because there's a lot of conformity. And the conformity, the most common conformity that most of the issue of being cool, the whole pressure of being cool. And um, and that has hit me as well in various phases of life. But to share it today here with you all is because something happened a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. Someone really cool, now from cool, when I say cool, you have to are doing 9 to 5 job, and if you like institutionalized work, if you like to be on a cycle every day, and that is your choice to do, that is cool. So it could be a very boring job that you have to do, that is cool. So it could be a very boring job that has to do with mental health. That is why I'm getting my degree of mental health. He, in a very bullying tone, he said, boring. And I was surprised and shocked. I mean, this one cool guy is a very looked up to person in my country. He's quite influential. And I was disappointed, not just because he was influential, but it did hit me hard. And for a very long time, I kept on thinking. And that particular thing really hampered my studies as well, because I thought, oh my God, this is not cool. Because I'm otherwise a very cool person. If you go through my profile, you'd realize that I do lots of cool jobs: hold the mic, go out, host concert, do TV shows, do podcasts, do a lot of things here. And if I don't do cool work, I think it won't be nice. So after completing all my exams, I have to complete my thesis. At that point of time, I felt that this is not cool and I shouldn't be doing, because this is not what people expect of me. So I suddenly dropped the idea of completing the thesis. But after a couple of months, lockdown happened, and that is where my whole perspective changed. So here is the transition. I decided not to complete my thesis and give up my whole idea of future where I would be working on mental health because someone told me that it's not cool. And after a couple of months, lockdown happened, and that is where whole thing changed. One one thing that changed my mentality is to see that every job matters. Every single job matters. As a freelancer host, I was jobless, but as a 9 to 5, as a person who works 9 to 5, someone was actually working. They were really associated to some organization, and they were actually earning money. So it was very, anything can be helpful. If you're happy, if you want to do it, you should do it. One thing that happened. Another is I myself took mental health help during lockdown. So I actually stretched my counseling sessions within 2 weeks, and that helped me a lot. Now that also made me realize that I don't know how mental health a lot. So here in my country, I said to my friend that, hey, I took mental health help during lockdown. And I don't have the kind of anxiety that people are sharing about in social media, regarding the social media, regarding the news, regarding the uncertainties. I don't have that kind of anxiety. And I don't think anyone from a far village will accept mental health help. So that is why I thought we should use social media, a medium that is very, very popular worldwide. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, now you are.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. So yes, so I thought maybe to target this elite group, I must use social media. That is when I made a profile in Instagram. It's called The Missing Counselor. I opened it. I actually wanted to open it on my birthday. That was May 25th, but I pushed it a couple of days. I opened an account in May 29th, and I expected to have clients from July 1st, because that's why June 1st, because that's when I wanted to start. But I don't know, fortunately, unfortunately, I had my first ever client on May 30th. So I did not start on the day I decided I would, but much earlier. And since then, it's been 2 months. We have helped 60 young people just through the medium of Instagram. We have 16 counselors. They are volunteers. They don't work on paid basis. They all give their time and expertise. They're all professionals. I have not taken anyone who does not qualify to be a counselor, because that is what I want to promote: professional mental health help. I don't want any random person to go out and become a counselor. So right now I have 16 of them, and they're doing a wonderful job. We have been getting a lot of offers for collaboration, and we're also looking forward to establish this as a company. So there's a lot of things that are coming in future. So many aspect of this story would be me myself fighting my demons, which can be associated to mental health issues. And I'm sure we all face that time and again in our lives. And I'm so glad that I faced that. The other aspect would be utilizing the free time. I think lockdown was one of those times. I don't know if there was strict lockdown in any of your respective countries, but Nepal had a very strict lockdown, so I had to be inside home. And I'm a workaholic. For me to stay inside home is something that I haven't done in years now. I'm extremely workaholic. I was working full 24 hours, you can say, before lockdown. So that would be too much though. I think it would be like 12 hours or 16, 18 hours, but I was working a lot. So utilizing your free time, B. Third, not actually, I think we should look at conformity from a different way as well. To do what you want to do doesn't have to be artistic all the time, doesn't have to be music all the time. It can be a 9 to 5 job, it can be reading books, or it can be just doing what you want to. And it shouldn't look cool, okay? It should make you happy, and what is happy is cool. Another one would be the mental health aspect, the way people, the approach of people here in Nepal regarding mental health issues. Even while we were working in our page, even while I was handling the Instagram, which I still am, a lot of people would make a new Instagram profile to connect to us. Now, this is a very serious problem here, because when you go to a counselor, you actually open up, and it's like you go there with a naked soul. And here you don't want to disclose your identity. A lot of them would just want chatting, because they don't want people to recognize them. They don't want video calls, they don't want audio calls, they don't want any sort of connection, but they want to share problems. It is one of the mental issues, but the problem is also the stigma. They don't want their identity to be disclosed. And my ways also needed them to disclose their phone numbers, though I would maintain the privacy. So um, while we all are here, we all have our respective issues that we all work for. I just want to say that um, I think, to work on something like this, some cause, any service, is probably one of the best and the most satisfying feelings ever. And I know that most of the speakers here today will agree with me, because that is why they work for. That is what they work for. I think satisfaction, happiness, and for betterment of the whole world. Because why I'm saying this is because I have been working for many years now, and I do a lot of cool jobs. Like I said before, I have when right before lockdown, I was doing a full-time job. I would make time for part-time because it was in the evening, so I would finish my work, full-time work, go to my part-time job, and I also host events. So if it's in the evening, I can actually have time to do my full-time job, do my part-time job, and again go and host events as well. So there was a lot of things that I was doing, and that is when and after opening this particular profile and helping 60 people now, surprisingly, in 60 days, I feel like this is one of the best things that I've done since I have been independent, since I have identified, since I have disclosed since I have introduced myself to the world. So I hope that all of you also are as satisfied, as happy with what you're doing, and I hope you all keep doing whatever you are doing, whatever you have been doing. And thank you so much for doing whatever you're doing, because I know that somewhere what you're doing is going to contribute to the future, and the future generation is going to take something really nice from you. And that is what I'm working towards as well, and I hope to be inspired by all of you. Well, that is it for now. Thank you so much, Merit Pokhara, one more time. Thank you so much, Sanjay. And are we taking questions? If we're taking questions, I'd like to take in questions as well.
All right, thank you so much, Nashma. This is really a wonderful speech. Really, you are a cool presenter, I would say. And kudos to your project.
Thank you so much.
None of the impact is small or big. So you are doing a really great job. And it's
Thank you.
determination and hard work. Everything is possible. And really, you are the example, like managing everything, your job, your studies, your projects and all. And I think everyone should learn from you that you should
Thank
succeed
you.
like you. So if anyone has questions, you can ask or you can type in a chat box. So I think we don't have any questions.
That's fine, but I really want to leave the name of my page here so that if there's anyone who wants to follow us on Instagram, they can follow us. So I'm leaving the messages, leaving it in the chat box. It's called The Missing Counselor, and we hope that we get support from you. By we, I mean me and my 16 counselors who are volunteers, who are doing work, who are helping people without any money and without any benefits. And I think they are the real heroes who have helped me my idea to come on floor. So please do follow us on Instagram and support us. And if there's anyone around you who needs mental health help, please let us know.
Okay. Thank you, Nishma, once again.
Thank you.
So we heard Nishma's ideas or project, so definitely this is a wonderful idea. Now, moving forward, we have our next speaker, Susanna Salim from Bangladesh. She is serving as community manager at Viru Bangkok and CEO at Rising Youth Foundation, India. She have also organized several SDG-related conferences over the past years. So, Susanna, you there?
Hi, Srishti. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. Over to you, Susanna.
Thank you so much. I think I'm going to switch on my video. Is that okay?
Yeah, definitely.
I
Absolutely
think
okay.
the hosts need to give me permission to switch on my video. Not sure if you guys can see me clearly.
Yes, we can see you clearly.
Hi, everybody. It's nighttime here, thus the darkness. But if you cannot hear me clearly, please let me know. Thank you for that introduction, Srishti, and lovely to hear from everybody. So today I'm going to talk about happiness and my journey to happiness. Now, most of you don't know who I am or what my story is, or even, the life experiences I have been through, because we've been through different life experiences, each of us. And although I've met some of you here, I haven't met most of you. And so I want us to realize that everybody has gone through ups and downs in their lives. We've all been through stages and phases of happiness and sadness. And probably that is what made us who we are. The experiences we've had, the journey we've had, our learnings along the way. So what I want you to all do right now, and there are quite a few people here, including the panelists. What I want you to do right now is take a few seconds. I am going to time this on my stopwatch. So 20 seconds, and check in with yourself. Check your internal weather. What is it that you feel right at this moment? Is it cloudy? Is it sunny? Is it calm? Is it stormy? Is it, frustrating? What is it that you're feeling inside right now? And you have the chat option. So please, when I say so, type into the chat and let me know how is it that you feel. So 20 seconds, please. Can I hear from some of you in the chat? How is it that you guys are feeling? What's your internal weather right now? Rishma says warm. Alifia says she can't describe what she's feeling. And that's all right as well. Anybody else? Just gonna give 1 or 2 more seconds for other people if they want the space to share. All right, thank you guys for sharing that. So the reason why, Anjani says, I feel like my brain is always thinking something. Not sure what, but this is always running. Cool. So what I did right now is the reason that I made you do this is to realize that your first step to happiness is always within yourself. If you know how you feel, if you know how is it that you're feeling at any point of time, if you take that 20 seconds to just check in and see what it is that you're feeling, you can take an action on it. If you're feeling overwhelmed, you can do something that makes you feel less overwhelmed, makes you feel peaceful and calm. If you're feeling like you're very warm and sunny and you want to feel that way, then keep doing what it is that you're doing to continue feeling that way. So firstly, to check in, this is what I do every single morning. So I wake up, I'm in my bed lying down, and instead of the usual going, to my phone, turning around, going and seeing what my notifications are, I'm like, Susanna, take 2 seconds, take 20 seconds, just check in with yourself, see how you're feeling, and work on that. If you're feeling really, really bad in the morning, and I've been through phases like that where I just don't want to get up from my bed. And if you're feeling really, really bad at that point of time, take an action to make yourself feel better. Because there's no other person who's more important, who should be more important than you yourself. Your mental health is important, your physical health is important. Everything that is associated to you is extremely important. And so if I ever feel restless, what I do is I try and I go running. I'm not a very athletic person, to be very honest. But at times when I'm like, I don't feel good about myself right now, maybe a little bit of activity is going to help me. And so I just go running. If I'm, like I said, feeling overwhelmed, I try and see what the silver lining is in, things that I do for, my everyday life. I maintain a gratitude journal. I'm not sure if anybody here does that, but every day at night, when the day is over and I'm about to go to sleep, I'll sit down very quietly, take some time, and write 3 things that were really good things that happened to me during the day. And so I end the note of the day in a very positive way, which has helped me become the person that I am today itself. So now, in truth, it actually took me a really long time to become the kind of optimistic person that I've become today. Since I'm not sure that, there's a few people here who know me, and you've seen me with all smiles and, being very positive and, posting positive stuff on the internet, posting all happy stuff on my Instagram. So it has taken me a very long journey to come where I am. And so I'm hoping to share something very personal with you guys. And I've decided to share this personal journey of mine in hopes to inspire whoever is going to hear this, at any point of time. So like I was saying, to tell you a little bit about myself, I am from Bangladesh, and I come from a very conservative family, and I come from a joint family. So we're like 120 people who stay in one place. So there's houses, and we're all staying together in the same place. So I have my cousins, their children, and their children. So I don't know how many generations live here. And yeah, so we all live together. And so about 4 or 5 years ago, as a South Asian girl, I'm not sure how many of you have gone through this, but as a South Asian girl, the minute I got above 18, so I was 18, 19, 20, there was this constant pressure for me to settle down. Like all my sisters here, I've got 64 cousins, and everybody at the age of 18 to 20 got married. By the time they were 22 to 23, had a kid. And so that expectation was of me as well. And what happened was I was adamant on not following the footsteps of, previous generations or sisters and everybody. And I was like, I'm not going to get married. There's no point in telling me this. So what my family did at that point of time in hopes, brown parenting thing. So in hopes to change my decision, they stopped paying for my college education. When they stopped paying for my college education, I was left completely broke. I never worked a day in my life before. And this was in my first year at university. I never worked a day in my life. I did not have a job at that point of time. I didn't think I would need to work because I was leading a very comfortable life, thankfully. And all of a sudden, everything that was like, I would say privileged. So everything that was a privilege to me, having, cash in my hand, for example, having food, having medicine, having all the basic necessities of life, having internet was taken away all of a sudden because I couldn't afford it and I couldn't pay for it. So when they stopped giving me my expenses for my education, my living, anything, they stopped talking to me, completely disowned me at one point of time. I had to figure out a way. And for a 20-year-old at that point of time to figure her life out was an extremely difficult task. But what I told myself every single night is I am not going to give up. At no point of time I will ever give in to lead a life to make others happy instead of making myself happy. My priority is me. What I do with my life is my decision. It's not somebody else's decision. It does not matter if they are my parents, my uncles and aunts. It does not matter if they are my well-wishers. It's something that I have a right of choosing. And every single day I would tell myself, this too shall pass. This is going to pass. I'm going to make it to the other end. There were nights when I had no food. I was sick and I had no medicine. There were nights, I was thankfully not living at home. I was living at the dormitory at the university. And I was thankful to have a bed to go to at night. That was the scenario for me. I could not pay for food, so the hostel took away my food privileges. I could not pay for the internet. They took away my internet privileges. I could not access the library at the university, took away my library privileges. And the whole time I was struggling to find a job and continue my classes because I knew I could not give up on my education because that is what I was essentially fighting for. And what happened was at one point of time, I think 3 or 4 months down the line, I landed a job. It was an informal job, paid really less, barely got, $100 a month. And with $100, I couldn't pay for my tuition and do my living expenses. So I somehow convinced my university to let me continue studying, to explain my situation, to let me continue studying for a couple of months. And then next semester, I'm going to save up and I'm going to pay for, that semester's fees. And so we reached the decision of me giving, a financial plan of me giving money in installments. And and what happened was when we reached that decision, it got really easy for me to hold that one job. And I take my classes in the evening and I do more tuitions. I did 3 jobs every single day, plus 6 hours of classes from morning till night. 10 p.m. I'd come back. I wouldn't have time to do my homework. I wouldn't have time to do my assignments, my presentations. And I'd have to wake up early next morning because I was exhausted. I'd wake up early next morning to complete my work so that when I go to class, I'm not lagging behind. And that continued for over a year. That 3 jobs plus odd jobs here and there whenever I could find it. I've done things that I'm not really even proud of saying, but that was the way I survived. And the reason that I'm sharing this is because that was when I hit rock bottom. That was my rock bottom. Nothing at all. Nobody to support me. No family. A few friends. But then, what can friends in university do? They can't support you financially. They can only give you emotional support. And that, for me, that was a really big thing, though. But yeah, once that 1 year passed away, it started looking good. I saved up enough money to attend a conference in Bangkok. And I think you can see that in the slideshow that the World Merit account is posting of my pictures. You can see that there's one of me and a really big conference that I went to as a delegate. And I had to do all my visa. I had to do all my, expenses myself. I saved up cash in that 1 year. Plus, I was paying my tuition fees as well to actually go and attend this one conference. And you know what I did over there? While everybody was actually, busy making friends, when everybody was busy, networking with, all the participants that came in, what I did was, this is something that I do in every single conference that I've been to or everything that I've organized before. I went and during lunch hour, I'd sit next to the panelists, the speakers, the organizers, and I'd pitch them my idea while we were eating. I was like, excuse me, can I just talk to you for 2 minutes? And people are really nice. People have been really kind to give me that 2 minutes to listen to what I have to say. And I was beaming with all these ideas. And I'd tell these people my ideas, and I'd have a lot of ideas, thankfully. And they'd be impressed. And that's how I landed my first internship, that too in Bangkok. So I'm not sure if you know of Professor Yunus. He's a Nobel laureate. He's the founder of Grameen Bank. And so once I went to this conference in Bangkok, the same one that I was talking about a little while ago, what happened was when I was sitting next to them and I was speaking with him, and I was speaking with this other person who runs the Yunus Center in Bangkok, they liked my idea and they offered me an internship. They said, we can't pay you much. We can look after your housing. We cannot look after your food, but if you have enough money saved and you can make the flight expenses and the visa cost, we can take care of the rest. And I was like, yes, this is it. This is my break. I'm going to end my university with a big bang. And I'm going to go and I'm going to do this internship and I'm going to do more stuff. And I'm just going to keep on rolling. And I don't need anybody in the world to, give me anything, because I'm going to do it by myself, like, family, friends, etc. And thankfully, I made it to Bangkok, to another point of my life where I could not afford food properly. And so even though I had a house to stay in, it was extremely hard to keep all the money that I saved up just for food expenses and for nothing else, and survive those 6 months that I did. And guess what? Once I completed those 6 months, another organization, because they saw how hard I was working and how diligently I was putting all my heart and soul into my work, asked me to come work for them. And this is an organization that I hold very, very close to my heart. It's called We Do, of which I'm the community manager right now, alhamdulillah. And the CEO knocked me one day, emailed me one day and said, I want you to come work and I want you to come stay here. And he actually knew my story. He knew what I'd been through because I was a mentee in that organization for a while, since 2014. And he was like, you don't have to go back home if you don't want to. You can work from here. We can make everything that you want come true. Just come and work and give all your energy in making this organization and in making yourself empowered. And I was like, yes, that's what I want again in my life. And I I actually, yeah, I packed up before coming back to the country, and I was coming back home. I haven't lived at home for more than 6, 7 years. And before I was coming home, what I did was I signed the contract without consulting with anybody, taking my life into my own hands. And I came back home and I let people know, see, this is what I've chosen for me. This is what I want to do with myself. And this was 2 years ago, actually. This is not too long ago. It was 2 years ago. And well, I signed a contract. It's legally binding right now. There's nothing you can do about it. So tata, bye bye. And I was off to live my dream. Since then, I have been the most content person that I know. Um, I have fixed my relationship with my family. I'm currently living at home. I'm back in Bangladesh. I'm living at my place with my parents. And I, fixed all these toxic relationships that I had with others when I was at my rock bottom. And I fixed my life and I went right from rock bottom to the top through this excruciatingly painful journey. It sounds very, when I say this to myself, it sounds very, it sounds like as if I'm bragging, but, or if I'm very proud of it. I am proud of what I have achieved so far, but I am just happy, to be able to achieve what maybe most other girls in my situation would not have been able to achieve. There's just so many cases I've come across where people just give in and give up their dreams. So I just wanted to say this. I shared my journey today here with you to make sure that you understand that you do not need to give up, and that even if things look really, really, really down, you can go ahead and you can plummet forward, but just have the hope that you are going to make it. There's this thing, I'm going to end with this actually. I've taken a lot of time already, but there's this thing called neuroplasticity. And it's actually the brain's ability to recognize itself by forming new neural connections like throughout your life, which basically means whatever you tell your brain, and if you tell it to your brain enough amount of times, your brain is going to start believing it. If I keep telling myself I'm a very stubborn person, I am never going to get out of that mindset that I am a very stubborn person. I'm going to hold on to it. So what I do is I tell myself I'm a very strong person. I'm a very positive person. I am who I am and what I am because of the choices and experiences I've had. And having said that to myself for 1 year straight, today I actually believe it. And I actually think whatever comes my way, I am going to achieve the great things that I have set for myself. And I hope that if you're listening to this, you do the same. Never give up, never let others decide what your life is going to look like. And always have the strength to go through everything that life throws at you. I think that's pretty much for me. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me.
Wow, Susanna, really. Thank you so much for this spiritual speech, I would say. Once an American author has said that optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Nothing can be done without hope and confidence. And I think this is what truly means, actually. So thank you so much, Susanna. Really.
Thank you for having me here.
All right. Moving forward, now we have our next speaker, Milan Rai from Nepal. He is also known as Butterfly Man. He is a multidisciplinary artist. His Butterfly project was able to promote peace, love, and positive vibes among social beings. In 2019, he formed a project known as Vriksha with the vision to transform underused land into urban park. So Let's hear from him. Over to you, Milanji.
Thank you. Let me know if you can hear me. Is my internet good? No?
Yes, we can
Yeah.
hear you.
Yeah. Thank you. Happy World Marriage Day, and thank you, everyone, wonderful speakers, for sharing your work. Uh, after hearing Susanna, I'm a little bit more inspired to share about my personal journey as well. I was thinking of talking about my work, but I want to go a little bit deeper. What drives me? I'm a multidisciplinary artist. I'm from Nepal, born in Nepal. After my I never completed my high school. I never went to any art college, so I'm a self-taught artist. So when I could not achieve any degree or any academic qualification, I felt left out, lonely, and all of my peers were uh, pursuing the higher education. So I felt left out and lonely. So art came back to art to express myself, and it was very difficult for me to convince my family, my friends, or the society at large. So after my a long story short, I started pursuing art, and in 2007, I did a first exhibition, my first solo exhibition. So after that, I realized that art is being limited to a very limited uh, group of privileged people. So I felt the art uh, should not be limited inside a gallery or the museum, and it has to go out. Uh, it has to be for everyone. So I felt the need to step out of the gallery system and to reimagine new pathways. Uh, or I felt the role of an artist is beyond uh, museum and gallery walls. So to redefine the notions of art, or to redefine the conventional relationship of art and the society, I started uh, uh, experimenting my work in public spaces or in alternative venues. So I wanted to art to reach out to the masses. So I tried a lot of ways, and but I could not achieve what I was hoping for. And when I looked back, I had spent almost 6 years researching, experimenting, trying complex ideas, uh, but I could not achieve what I hoped for. So I felt very depressed and frustrated, and I went out on what do you say? I would say it's a quest. I went out on a journey made a trip to India. So it was during that journey I noticed butterflies uh, appearing everywhere. So after I came back, I thought there must be something in that the tiny insect butterfly telling to connect, uh, telling me something. So felt I felt so happy. Uh, I cannot express it in words. So I wanted to translate the feeling into art and see what realization that would bring to me. So I started uh, after frequent trip to India. At one point I started making white butterflies installation in public spaces, and I also to make art accessible to all. So those who found those butterflies became curious, and they started relating with their own stories. And I left it open for personal interpretation. And people began requesting these butterflies from everywhere, from America to Africa, from many parts of the world. So uh, people related deeply with their personal stories, and also it evolved as a community-based art project in 40 plus countries around the world. So uh, I let this project take a life of its own, and it evolved as a global art project. And that's how my role as a socially engaged artist continuously evolved from there, and laid the foundation for my social art practice. So now I'm working with uh, the communities. So before I go there, how it started, I would like to go back to 2017. Oh, there are pictures. Sorry, I didn't say any pictures. So it was at in 2017. I stood in a public space where wearing a gas mask to highlight the issues of air pollution and to respond to social and socio-political environmental issues that was and also the political misconduct, negligence, incompetence in the government to respond to such urgent issues. So I made a statement or a symbolic protest wearing a gas mask in the public space sphere. But standing in the public, it raised certain level of discourse, debate, made some news headlines, but that was not enough. So I felt it has to, activism has to, is not complete without action. So I started going to government offices wearing that same gas masks, exploring accountability with government officials and asking them to act on it. So it was a very long, lengthy process. They would not listen to me. I waited for 7 hours longest, and every day 2 hours to 4 hours. It was usual for me to go there and wait for them. And it's very how do you say this? I so this is my the current picture that you see is outside. It's in the premises of Lalitpur Metropolitan City where I work. I have my open studio there. So I waited for 7 hours just to meet with the mayor, concerned official authorities. So what I realized was, what am I doing here in this space? So I realized I'm using art. I'm doing art. So basically, I said I am doing a performance art here. So when you are doing a performing art, you remain disciplined, you remain focused, and I started. Uh, uh, Without any aggressions, frustrations. I just sat there silently, developing empathetic qualities, compassion, listening to them, finding right people, building trust, and forging new ways of possibilities. So after 21 months of regular visit to these government offices, I finally uh, and, caught the attention of mayor, and then he started giving me time, and then I started giving them ideas and sharing my ideas. So what I realized was, we criticize a lot, that's justifiable, but we should not stop there. We have to criticize, and we have to challenge, and then we have to support. So we are missing those two other two important things. Criticize alone will not take us anywhere. So I started what started as a criticism or commentary uh, morphed into something. Let's work together. So I started posting all my works on social media, Facebook, and people, like-minded people who saw my work, they started connecting with me and they started joining force. So organically, the team was formed called Briksha. I think it's in Sanskrit, it's tree. So with this team, I started working to transform neglected spaces, unused spaces into well-planned parks of different sizes, from pocket parks to community parks to green spaces. So city and so far there has been no good practice. Because of it, the city is facing a lot of problems. So we need to rethink urban planning. We need to rethink placemaking. So cities are complex, multi-authored habitats. We need to, that needs constant renewal, and it can negatively affect us and the surrounding context if we don't plan it well. So I started inviting taking multidisciplinary approach to address this issue. So to make a public space, well-planned public space, we need ecologist, landscape architect, diverse disciplines, from social scientists. So I started bringing these people in to bring some, to show how it's done. So working, and then another thing is working with community to co-create and co-produce, where community becomes integral part of the meaning making, or something, making memories through collective experiences. So my work, I engage with a lot of social forces, uh, uh, and so balancing all these stakeholders, individuals, communities, government agencies, organizations, and negotiating differences among these actors in cross-sectoral structure, it's very complex. And harmonizing links between this discipline is my architecture. That's what I realized. And remembering the first, going back to the first present speaker, he was talking about, I really feel connected to his work, and I call it unnoticed architecture. He was talking about what happens underground is more so important. So I'm also focusing on the, I call it unnoticed architecture. So many things that has been missing, I try to from the macro to the micro. So one thing that I'm trying to promote is biodiversity, to support biodiversity through our work. So sustainability is sustainability, the word sustainability is becoming fashionable in many conferences, seminars, and webinars, but we need to be very honest and have nuanced analysis of this tendency. We need to, I don't think sustainability is the key, is the main, sustainability. To understand sustainability, I think in this age of Anthropocene, if we continue to go like this, we cannot sustain. We are trying to sustain the unsustainable. So if we continue to go like this, we will reach to a point of no return. So sustainability is for the challenge. So we need to be regenerative. I would like to stress on that. We need to be regenerative, caring, giving, nurturing, and develop critical thinking, not just talk. So I feel very special. It gives me a very special feeling when I think, concentrate about plans, the underworld, unseen world, and to think about plants and other species that coexist with us, and to celebrate this life together. So this is my story in short. If I have more time, I can, I don't know how much time I took. Hi, hello. Do I have more time?
You have 1 minute left, unfortunately.
Okay. So this is my work basically, from an artist working in galleries, now working with communities as a socially engaged artist. So yeah, if you have any questions, I would be more than happy, and I will definitely add all of you, follow all of you on social media.
Thank you so much, Milanji, for your wonderful time and your speech. Definitely, I think it would be better if we could get more time with you. But even in few minutes, you have really expand your thoughts, your ideas of utilizing art for social reform and environmental conservation, and really it's inspiring. And your idea is really a reformative pragmatism. And thank you so much for being here with us and sharing your ideas.
Thank you.
All right. The session is really getting interesting and exciting. And moving forward, now I would like to call our another speaker, Ahmad Ardiansa. Sorry if I pronounce it wrong. He is from Indonesia, and he is here with us on the behalf of Walmerit Semrang. He is actively engaged in wildlife and animal conservation project since very long time, and his current project is Wildlife Trade in Indonesia in collaboration with Oxford Wildlife Trade Research Group. So over to you, Ahmad.
Hello, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Hello, everyone. Yeah. So, good evening to you all, and I'm very honored very honored to be invited in this very amazing platform. Thank you for Port Merit Pokhara to host this event. And I've gone through to many speakers before I the start this presentation. It was very amazing. I mean, I was so very honored. I'm very honored to be here, to be among of you all. So yeah, my name is Ahmad. I'm Indonesian conservation enthusiast, and I've been working with animal because I love animal. Who doesn't love animal? That's the question, right? Yeah, and I've been working since like 2014. Yes, when I started my study in university, and now I'm I'm already in the professional level. So I've done so many conservation job in Indonesia, especially. So okay, so I know I already hear some stories, some amazing stories from the other speakers, with uh, with some various background from like Susanna and then Milan, right? It is very amazing, and here I am. I wanna talk a bit about the animal. So the question is, who doesn't love animals? If anyone may be thinking, why am I such doing this work? Maybe um, some of you thinking that the animal caretaker is only for, I'm sorry, it's no offense, but in Indonesia, actually, the animal caretaker is often deemed as very low level job. But actually, this was very low level job that everyone uh, uh, everyone wants to be the part of it, and I'm just very grateful to be. Uh, I just very grateful to be in this opportunity, and I wanted I wanna share my stories. How's the beginning? How's the beginning of myself finally delve into this conservation world? So first of all, I remember when I was a kid, I went to the zoo during the holiday season, and my both of my fathers and my mothers always uh, take me to the zoo, and I was shockingly intrigued as this is my first time. Uh, I was like, I'm sorry, I turning off the video because the signal is getting bad here. So I was shockingly intrigued as the time is my first ever experience watching the wildlife, and I was about like uh, 8 years old, and the feeling is such very explainable compared when I was only watching them in the TV. So my father's side, I kept standing all the time during 2 hours safari trip in the backseat of the car. And my father said that I proposed some question that why are they so very different? Why are they just not in the same shape on or the same color? And my father, both of my father and mother, definitely hadn't have and didn't have any idea about the answer because but they are a businessman, and it's just very imprinted in my thought until finally in the high school there was like a classmate discussion, and uh, the topic was about what do you want to be in the future. And at that time some of my friends yelled, I want to be engineer because they are they can make such a huge and advanced skyscraper building with those of sophisticated design. And then some of uh, my friends also say, I want to be a doctor. They can heal all people. They can bring back the happiness that sickness has taken uh, from them. And it just finally, I was pointed by my teacher, and then, what do you want to be, Ahmad? And I want to take care of animals because I love animals. And all my friends just said, loving at all, because it's not very such a cool job. But finally, I brave myself to be in this field. So here I will show you some of my experience, some of my photo. Wait. Can you see? Can you see the photos? Hello?
Yes, we can see.
Yeah. Okay. So this is my first project. I was involved in the orangutan conservation project. So orangutan actually the only great ape in the Asia, and the others remaining in Africa. So my job is like I rewilding the orangutan in the forest because these animals is being targeted as the pet, but it's very illegal to keep the orangutan as the pet. It has been protected both nationally and internationally. And as the world globally more connected, there 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 always a chance to smuggle this individual orangutan to be in the black market, because you know it can be sold up to, I would say, 1,400 US dollar. This is very interesting, right? So therefore I dedicate my life, I dedicate my job period during that time to save orangutan, while some of orangutan are being trapped in the oil palm plantation, because now uh, their habitat now more converted to the oil palm plantation, and it is second biggest commodity in Indonesia. And to reward the orangutan, there are several level. It's like us, like primary, secondary, and university level. Once they are gone through this level, they are ready to be released in the forest. And the second picture is my experience during my internship. So I'm actually observing the monkey. It's the monkey, we call it like a surili. Yeah, in Indonesia, I call surili. So this monkey is very agile. It's very different from the orangutan. They are big, so they do rely walking on the ground. But this monkey is rely heavily on the branch of the tree. So I keep observing, and uh, I record every food they consume, and how many branch they use for their movement, where are they sleeping, and all this data uh, will be extrapolated, and we made it into presentation to the forestry agency, to the government, to justify that these species are really okay in their habitat. So, and actually, I am very I just like didn't believe that my work uh, in the forest finally are being exposed to the international conference, because my supervisor always keep pushing me to present your work to the international level because you are from the high biodiversity country, and all of people want to see uh, what the biodiversity look like in Indonesia. I think it's enough. Hello? Is there any?
Yeah, yeah, we can hear you. Thank you so much, Ahmad,
Yeah.
for your time and your remarkable words.
Yeah.
Animals, and other wildlife are the greatest treasure we have, and your dedication for biodiversity is really motivating.
Yeah.
So, if you have any questions for him, you can type on a chat box or ask him. So, let me check if we have any question in chat box. It seems we don't have any questions over here.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Ahmad, once again for your time and your
Yeah.
speech.
Yeah. Thank you all for this amazing opportunity.
Okay, moving forward, now we have our next speaker with us, Kauthar El Uthmani from Morocco. Sorry if I pronounce it wrong. She is here on the behalf of World Merit Casablanca. She is UN Young Ambassador, and she has been engaged in different projects at youth empowerment and educating people on global goals. So let's hear out from her. Kauthar?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you so much for the sweet introduction. I think the picture is enough for you to get to know me. No need to turn on my camera. Yes, you did pronounce my name very right. My name is Kauthar. I am Moroccan and I'm a business student. But I'm also very interested in diplomacy, in youth empowerment, and especially in standing up for women and for hijabi women more specifically. I'm just gonna start by telling my very personal story and how it grew to impacting youth, how it impacted me personally, and how it helps me empower other youth. So when I first got into college, I had the chance to meet some classmates who had the chance to go on exchange programs in their early years in high school or their secondary school. So of course, after you got the chance to go on exchanges and everything, oh, this is a very cool picture. Thank you. After getting the chance to go on exchange programs and everything, you're not the same person. You become stronger. You have your self-confidence is way better than others and everything. So I used to compare myself to these people, and I thought that it was very hard to be on these programs. I didn't know where to start from, and I was always stuck on one place. So I felt this anxiety that I would just be this typical student in my school. I wouldn't do much, and it was very, very hard to take the first step. So what I did was to join just a debate club in my school because I was very shy. I could not speak in public. So I had to overcome this shyness because I know that this point was the one stopping me. This is why I would advise everyone to know themselves, to be very specific about what points are stopping them from starting their growth. So if you see the first picture that was shared, that was my very first debate. And actually, I did extremely well. That once I finished, I had people congratulating me, people coming at me, telling me that I have potential, everything that I could not see myself, everything that I could not believe, because I never saw myself having this much potential. This picture is part of the Young Mediterranean Voices program. I had the chance to participate, and this was the life-changing program for me because I just participated for the first time. I participated in a national championship. I was an English debater. And I got the chance to win that championship. And then I went abroad. I represent Morocco in regional competition, in seminars and firms. And so this first step of just joining the debate club started a whole journey for me. And I can admit that am no longer the same person I used to be in my first year in college. This picture is from MUN's Model United Nations, which I believe helped me a lot as well. And I highly encourage people to look for opportunities where they can just develop themselves and get to discover themselves first. Because I participated in my first MUN. I first participated in 2017. My first participation was bad, was the worst I could imagine. I've never seen worse than that. Still, some of the chairs told me that I had potential. And guess what? 1 year later, I became part of the academic team and I started training first timers and delegates at the MUNs organized by global diplomats here in Morocco. After that, I became the public relations coordinator, all that starting from being a simple delegate who didn't know where to start from. After that, I believed that I had the chance to work on myself enough. And I mean, of course, the developing ourselves journey never ends. But I just needed to gain some self-confidence in myself, some self-confidence, and I did. And at some point, I decided that it was time to start sharing with others. It was time to stop playing as an individual and think of myself as part of a bigger team. This is when I applied to become president of Merit Casablanca, and this is something I'm super grateful for because I believe I have a family and I do not need to think of myself as an individual. We are a group of young, motivated people who are driven by change. And I believe it is very important to work on ourselves as individuals, but then again, we have to try to impact people. And saying that, I would like to talk about some projects that were organized by LMCs besides Casablanca. For Merit Rabat, for example, we have the Mental Health School in Morocco that tackles mental health for students. Also, the Be a Leader to teach leadership. The future is loading for school orientation, and by the way, we have a webinar this next Monday if you want to join. We have behind the scenes against child abuse, Alif against animal abuse. Again, McNess LMC have the Tech Day workshop about digital freelancing, Think Kid to raise awareness about SDGs for kids, the Cleanup Day, Recycleha for recycling. Again, the point of my talk is to find ways to discover ourselves, because we need to work in ourselves by accepting what we are today. We do not need to keep comparing ourselves to others, because if I kept doing that, I wouldn't have moved anywhere. And you are always, just keep in mind that you are always one person, one opportunity from being a completely different person. This is why I encourage people to keep looking, to keep doing researches, to reach out to other people who are where you want to be. Never hesitate to ask questions, never hesitate to looking like you are ignorant in anything, because this is just going to be stopping. Last thing is, the picture I am putting in my bio is my picture at the United Nations in New York. And this is something I'm the proudest of, because as I said, I started in a debate club at my school, and then I had the chance to be a delegate at the United Nations. I had the chance to meet real world delegates and ambassadors there at the United Nations in New York. And of course, this is something that I would have never imagined or pictured 2 or 3 years ago. So our personal development journey never ends, but just get to know yourself, surround yourself with people who are willing to learn and with people who are willing to help you grow as a person. And then, of course, never stop thinking of yourself as part of the team, because this is what makes you go further. I think this was a general talk. If anyone has any questions about the debate club I am with global diplomats and diplomatic simulations, any questions in general, I would be very, very happy to answer.
All right, thank you so much, Kautar. So as I said, if you have any questions, please you can type on a chat box or ask her. So let me check if we have any in the chat box. I think everyone is clear from your speech. So no, there is no any questions in a chat box. But still, if you have any, please. Well, so I think we don't have any questions.
I would like to add just one point. If we have anyone from the attendees or panelists or anyone here interested in MUNs, we have a virtual one that is going to be organized on the 7th and the 8th of August. So if you're interested, I would be very happy to help you register, or you can just check Google. You can just check Global Diplomats on Instagram to find the application form. It's sometimes, I think this is a question for me. It's sometimes difficult to accept the change. How did you accept the change in a short duration? I think the trick is you do not start with something big, because when I started, as I said, I started very small. 2 years ago, I would have never seen myself at the United Nations, but I would see myself speaking in front of a group of people, 5 people, 10 people. It didn't, yeah, it bothered me at first, but then I started step by step. Small steps are what helps. And it is true that became cliche because everyone repeats these small steps, but that's the truth. If you want big change, it's better to divide it, to make it look like it's nothing big. And after 1 month, after 2 months, after a year, you're gonna see a huge difference. And then you will see that it wasn't that easy, that hard to change. I hope that I answered your question, Grisma, and I hope that I pronounced your name right.
I will Kauthar have still more minutes. So if you have any questions, so you can ask. All right, so it seems we don't have any questions. So thank you, Kauthar, for your time. Your confidence is really motivation for all the girls and whoever is listening this. And really, the greatest protection a woman can have is her courage. And this is all I get to learn from you. Thank you once again. Moving forward, we have our another speaker, Bukola Olaliri from Nigeria. She is the president of World Merit Nigeria, and she is currently on a project called Merit Aid Nigeria, with the vision to teach youth from northern Nigeria about programming and social media marketing. So let's welcome her and hear her impactful stories. All yours, Bukola.
Yeah, thank you so much. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you so much. And I want to say happy World Merit Day to everyone listening at the moment. And thank you, Sanjay and the Merit Bukhara team for this invite. I really appreciate it. So I wouldn't want to bore us with a lot of stories, but I'll just pick out some stories that I feel like it's going to inspire everyone this evening. Well, I'll start sharing a bit of my story and a bit of my background and how I've become who I am. And because I don't think I've unraveled the whole story or the whole me, but I'm in the process of becoming something. So I grew up in an environment that I keep hearing words like, you're a dollard, you don't really know so much. I blame that on my academic reports because I feel like among my siblings, I'm the one with the least good results. So this word shaped a bit of who I was while I was growing, even though I knew that I had so much in me. But because of that, I was just a timid girl that just was there. But something happened while I was age 13. My dad died, and that changed a whole lot of things about me. It changed a whole lot of things because that was the only person that actually supported me, that wouldn't call me a dollar, that wouldn't call me other names that my mom would do. I understand better why my mom also did that, but at that point, no, I just didn't feel that love, and I felt I was just in my own world. But because of the death of my dad, I think I delved into reading. I began reading books. I remember buying Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I remember reading books. I just buried myself in book reading, and I feel like that book reading really helped me because it changed my mindset, and it changed the way I think about myself. And it didn't even allow me to believe what my mom or other people were really saying about my grades then. I just had that different mindset entirely, and that really helped me. That helped me because at the long run, I think I was the only one that attended university first amongst my brother. And I didn't even have course to write my WAEC twice, nor my JAM twice. I did it once. Unlike my siblings that were actually so-called good. But that changed my perception. And when I went to serve as well, that just made me understand who I was. And that gave me more drive to really help people, because a part of me really love inspiring and creating change. A part of me, I really love to create solutions. It's like you come to meet me and I'm thinking of, okay, this is the solution to this problem. This is the way I can help in my whole little way. That has been me for a very long time. Probably I will blame it on my course also. I study psychology. So this has really shaped me. And I was in a community that it was on the served rural community. And I couldn't help myself to believe that some kids were in this place and will be graded with the same kids in the same ward. And they are not well exposed in terms of their education, in terms of what they know. So what I did basically was I gave them encyclopedias. I love reading. So what I could do was just to give them encyclopedias for them to have a different view about their environment and their community. I was always organizing after school sessions for them. I wanted to solve a problem in that community. And once I left there, up to this moment, my kids still reach out to me, and I'm proud to say what I've implanted in them has really grown and has brought a very good seed in their life. Because I really wanted to create change, because I've always had that in my mind. And my dad died a death that I felt that it could have been managed if he had access to proper health care. And I know at some point I was always going to the rural community. I saw the gap that there was no primary health care centers in rural communities. Doctors don't really want to stay there. Qualified doctors will not stay there. And there was so much gap. And I understand the role a breadwinner will play in a family. I have lost one, my dad. So I knew that I can't allow a breadwinner to die in a family. And the little way I could do, amidst all I do, was the health project I created, and that was Canpe. And so what we do basically then was we go to rural communities, run mobile health check for them. We had doctors around, and I bless God that my husband is a doctor. So because of his own influence, we were able to get as many doctors as we wanted. So all we do was to just provide the drugs for them once they're clocked. And the results and the impact we get for each of these campus sessions was always amazing. There was one we did recently that this woman was dying. She had hepatitis B and she was in a crisis. I couldn't come to the time of her husband is a farmer. So they never had so much income to even take her to an hospital. They could just patronize patent medicine sellers, which would not even help them or heal them. And we had organized one session time like that. And that campaign helped this woman because we did a follow-up and she was well and healthy. I imagine what would have happened to that family if there was nothing like this. Because of this has really helped, made me think of, okay, what solution? What can we really do to really help? I remember when I met Sanjay last day in Morocco, I was sharing an idea about how we could infuse tech to the health sector. I'm glad COVID came because with COVID right now, a lot of health tech startups are really coming up, and I'm working on hers also. One thing that has helped and is still helping me is this. Once there is this idea that comes up from a problem I've been seeing, I look for how to best to create this solution within my means. There are times that I might not really have the financial capacity, but I've always been blessed that because of my heart and the fact that I really wanted to create this change, there's always a way around it. And that came about this project of Married Tech. I mean, I'm based in the northern part of Nigeria, and I see a lot of girls, young girls, engaged in child marriage, working. They were doing all sorts of things that I couldn't come to the tent. First, I had a culture shock because I was new in the northern part of Nigeria. I wasn't really used to the whole setting. I couldn't come to the tent that there were people like this, like doing all of this. There's this way they adore themselves. And I felt there's more to their life because I understood how I grew up and how I know there was more to me. Thank God for reading. Thank God for the exposure I had at some point. I wouldn't have been who I am at the moment. I had to figure out what these girls would do, and thank God I came up. I knew tech was going to be a major breakthrough without not knowing COVID was even going to come and really crown this tech thing. We started. I know I never had the money to buy as much as 6 laptops, not even internet facility or anything to help these girls. But one thing I had was this idea, and I had that passion to help. I had that idea. I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew how feasible it could be, and I knew the people I could involve in the project to make it work. Then I think we luckily we got sponsor for it, and once we got a sponsor to help with the project, I was glad because I could see girls that never had computer knowledge. Literally, they didn't even know anything about computer, trying programming, and are excelling in it. Now, COVID has come and we have stopped this project for the meantime, but it hasn't kept me or stopped me from thinking of creating a change. I think thinking of helping people and creating change is like a weak part of me. I don't know, because I can't just help it. I can't help it. Now again, I'm thinking of, okay, what can we do? And I'm saying this out because I feel that anybody here can create this change. What I'm thinking, what I thought about was that people in undeserved community, even though in my country, schooling has been stopped. And okay, 5 minutes there, I'm rounding up right now. Schooling has been stopped, and the only way around this is online class. But what about parents? Okay, 7 minute max. Thank you so much. Thank you. So what about parents that don't have a smartphone? What will happen to these kids? What's going to happen to them? I kept thinking about that. And I felt, okay, we could look for partners in different community that are good in any subject. They could gather these kids together, taking cognizance of the social distancing, wearing face masks, and start teaching them any subject. So that when COVID comes off and everything is done back to normal, hopefully, learning will have still taken place in these children's life, because I understand the role learning, reading, equipping your mind takes, and the role it plays in someone's life. It has the possibility to shape on one's ideology. It has the possibility of giving a new life, a new mindset to somebody, and that's liberating. So this evening, my story is just to tell us that once you have an idea, keep thinking about that idea. Keep looking for probable solutions in making sure that idea would work. You might not have the money, but just keep thinking about it. You might not have the manpower, keep thinking about it. Work towards how you can achieve it within the limits, within the set skills you have. And I know one thing, that idea will always come to play. And also, don't underestimate the person that reads. Don't even underestimate someone that reads, because that person is brooding and is breeding an idea. It's somebody you need to be close with. And I also want to ask us today, have you read any book this month? In case you haven't, please try and read a book. Thank you so much, Sanjay. Thank you everyone for listening. I hope I've inspired one person this evening. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Bukola, for your wonderful speech. Well, you are a superwoman, I would say. So, as he said, if you have any questions, please, you can ask or you can type on a chat box. Let me check if you have any. Well, there is no any questions in a chat box. So, thank you, Bukola, for your wonderful time. Now, moving forward, we have another speaker with us. She is Beatriz Mende Gantica from Venezuela. She is a program manager at Microsoft and founder of Nuova Foundation, which has a mission to teach and inspire underrepresented minorities about computer science and STEAM education. So let's welcome her and hear her inspiring stories. Over to you, Beatrice.
Hi, good morning. So thank you for having me. Yes, as you mentioned, I'm from Venezuela. I live in the US, and to me, it has been a journey of giving back pretty much since I was very young. It was something very ingrained in my family where we go back and share with anybody that we could share with. So we make sure that we could go to the orphanage, we can make sure that we could go to the elderly home, and it was a fun activity. It was like, let's go and make sure that we can donate clothes or can donate money or can donate food. And that stuck with me. So I grew up in Venezuela with that, and then I had the chance to study abroad in many places, and that helped that worldview of myself that I could do more. I came to the US. I went to school in Wisconsin, and one of the things that I really wanted to make sure is that everybody would have access to what STEM education would look like. And by STEM, I mean science, technology, engineering, and math education. And that got me thinking, what can I possibly do? So what we were doing in college was I was part of a great initiative in the university where we could bring students from underserved backgrounds to the university and teaching what a college students would look like, what you could do, what you could study, the labs, the dorms, to inspire them, because maybe they didn't have that role model, that person in their family that they could look up to go into college. Then I was super lucky enough to join Microsoft right after college. And I can help with internal programs. I can help with other nonprofits that helps girls, that helps Latino girls here in the US, so that helps underrepresented. And I felt that I needed to do more, like to somehow make sure that I could help maybe in a broader way. And so I chatted with 5 friends and we met at a cafeteria and we said, like, what can we do? Like, we all are super privileged in a way to work in a great company where we can go and have an impact in the world. But what can we do to have impact in people's life? And that's how Nueva Foundation comes into the picture. We figured this out and said, how about we help everyone, regardless of their gender, regardless of their ethnicity, regardless of their race, of their income. Let's make sure that if a kid is underrepresented in any way, shape, or form, that we have the ability to show that kid a role model that looks like them because it's helpful. And also just to make sure that they can see that STEM is not this abstract thing that's unreachable, but something that they can do and can change not only their life but their community. So that's how it started. Super crazy idea. We said, let's give it a try. And the first event, this was back in April 2018. We go to Wisconsin. I get to teach a class of 40 students. And I asked them when they come into the university, which was where we teach that time, and say, hey, what do you want to do when you grow up? So you get the first girl, she raises her hand and says, hey, I want to go and work at the factory lane. Excellent. Next girl, hey, I want to go and work at the factory lane. And the third and fourth, and so forth. So I shared my story. I taught him how to code using a Python turtle, where you can get to see the Python, the turtle, and then it moves around. And the girls and kids in general get to see how that moves. Then we get to do some hands-on exercise. And at the end, before they leave, we ask, like, hey, can you please fill out a survey just to make sure that what we're doing, it's good, like what can I improve, always looking for ways to improve. And to my surprise, every single girl that was taught that day how to code and share the story, they wanted to now go to college. This is just a testament that sometimes you cannot be what you cannot see. And the fact that we were able to inspire 40 girls at one time from one event, that college is worth it, that whatever education they want to pursue, if it's the STEM path, awesome. But if it's other path, it's awesome as well. That was just super inspiring. We've been doing this across 12 countries. It's been amazing. We work with any schools, especially schools that might not be as funded as they should, or that they might not have a computer science background. And we also make sure that the kids understand that sometimes it's not necessarily that you would like to go into the engineering path, and that's okay. But we also try to show, if you go into a different path, like the marketing path or the legal path or the entrepreneurial path, you can also get to work at a big tech company. So there's nothing preventing you. But we do show both sides of the coin, because we do understand that maybe STEM is not for everyone, but at least the notion to know that you're making a wise decision because you learned something, and it's not just this thing that you have no idea because nobody on your surrounding, nobody on your school, nobody in your community or in your family has pursued that path. It's not possible. It has been an amazing journey. We've been touched by so many awesome stories of kids that come. They want nothing to do with coding or computer science in general or hardware, and they leave after our events with a huge smile on their face, with like, I can do this. I actually coded my first line. I actually made my own song with my own beats doing coding. I got to work a circuit, and that emotion, or like that spark on their eyes that it is possible and they can do it too. It's what makes sure that I'm doing the right job. Like, we're doing this. If any of you would like us to work with you, if you have a school or maybe your high school or middle school where you went to school and you think people could benefit from this program, more than happy to. We do things virtually, pre-COVID and with COVID. We've been doing things virtually so we can scale, and we can share a story, inspire others. And the whole idea at the end of the day is to make sure that we're giving back, and we're giving dreams to those kids that it's possible, you can do it. And that's what my story is all about. I hope you're a little bit inspired to give back in any way, shape, or form that's your passion, or that you can. And I can stay here for questions if there are any. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Well, thank you so much, Beatrice. We know you are having really, really tough schedule, but
Yeah, definitely.
so if you have any, please, you can ask. So I think we don't have any questions, and I don't see any in chat box. Let me check once before you leave. It seems like there's no any questions for you, Beatrice.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I no, we should be thankful you have managed your time for this. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay. Moving forward, now we have our next speaker with us, Anas Sohaib Khan from India. He is a project associate with Center for Civil Society. He has been actively working with South Asian Student for Liberty, and over last years he has been actively working for promoting the idea of liberty. So let's welcome him and hear his inspiring story. So Anas, over to you.
Yeah, I'll just go quickly do a sound check. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so I'm going to quickly share my screen. I need you, Srishti, to just tell me if you can see my screen. Okay, yes. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Hello?
Hello?
Again, and you can hear me clearly, right?
Yeah, we can hear you clearly and we can see your screen as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Merit Pokra, for inviting me. It's wonderful to be here, and I actually wanted to come to Pokhara for this, but yeah, thank you so much, and thank you for the hospitality and Sanjay. So I slightly have a different story, and I've been listening to the wonderful stories of all the people before me, and it's been amazing to hear all the stories. And I think it'll be great to talk about my story as well. So I want to talk about primarily, if you can look at the title on my screen, unlocking people and ideas. And and why this is so important to me is precisely because I've gone through the process, the transition of understanding what people and ideas combined can create. And if you look at the picture on the screen, a Socratic Camp, the logo in between, you see the Students for Liberty logo, the organization I have been affiliated to for the past 3 years. And it's been a journey and a transition. I think I have very few words to put into to explain the kind of transition that I've gone through because of my affiliation with Students for Liberty. Let me go take you to an interesting story and something that I can relate to as a student. But let's first quickly see. Can see my screen. Yeah. So if you can see the picture on my screen, and I don't know if any of you know this. Know this. Does anyone know here what this picture is about? Just take a 5-second guess. Okay. So I'm not sure. I can't see the comments though, but this is a picture of Socrates, and you can see he is being given hemlock, poison, and you can see all his disciples crying and sobbing and weeping.
Now we will,
Hi, can you hear me, Srishti?
maybe, yeah, we can hear you.
I am extremely sorry. I think because of the weather here, it got disconnected. Can I share my screen again? Okay. Um, okay. Just a moment. Let me gather my. Okay. So, okay. I hope we were here in this second picture. And I was talking about this picture. If you see this picture, you see that is Socrates, and he's being given hemlock. And one of the reasons that one of the primary reason that Socrates was given hemlock because his entire life was about asking questions. I kind of relate this picture with my classroom and with my classroom education, and with how in our part of the world, the education is primarily about one person who's a know-all person who talks about you know he's supposed to be the father figure, and he tells you everything, and then you don't reason, but you just listen to him because whatever he's saying is the right thing. So why this is important is because I'll tell you the method with which I was acquainted to during my initial sort of initiation time with Students for Liberty. And when I joined, I was the only sort of local coordinator at that time from Mumbai. And I was extremely disoriented with the kind of college environment I had. It was difficult for me to learn anything because all that happened was a lecturer coming and telling us something, and we were to take it as the word of God. And that's where the entire narrative changes when I joined Students for Liberty, and the kind of transition that I see in myself. That today I've built a career out of doing that. So I'll just, yeah. So what is the Socratic method or a colloquium? If you can see the picture, this is a picture of a Students for Liberty event. It's a 2-day residential event called the Socratic Camp. And in the Socratic Camp, the primary thing that we do is deliberate, we reason, and we discuss. But these discussions do not have an hierarchy. So there's no one person who is going to have the final word. And we generally use a text or a set of curated set of readings. It can be any topic, but because we are libertarians, we take many topics that are pertaining to liberty. So we sit down and we have a text and a curated reading. Let's say one of the readings is Why is India Poor, right? And we read that part, and we open the floor for discussion. So one most important part about a Socratic method or a colloquium is that you're not winning, you're not losing, and you're not allowed to use jargons. You're not allowed to use extremely fancy terms that will confuse everyone. And one of the reasons why Socrates was getting on people's nerves is that he was asking very simple questions, but those simple questions were extremely fundamental to the topic being discussed. So for example, in a Socratic seminar or a colloquium, we all of us sit together and we say, why is India poor? And someone says, oh, because of unemployment. And then the next thing I ask is why? And then, when you go on asking why, you finally reach a place where you're going to challenge your own reasons. And why people come for a colloquium is precisely because they want to speak. They don't want to be in a classroom setup. They want to express themselves. At the same time, they want to listen to other people. And if you look at these people in the screen, all of them, this was for many of them, it was their first Students for Liberty colloquium. And all of them are now part of Students for Liberty in one or the other capacity as leaders. So I think this was one of the most fundamental moments in my life as an SFL leader. I'll just take you to the story ahead. So how does an entire colloquium setup work? I've been discussing and talking about colloquium, but how do I relate to it? So if you see, a colloquium is about people and ideas. And something that we take care of, and I've always made sure in the colloquium, is the setup that you have. all of these people are from different backgrounds. They're from all over Mumbai, some of them from the neighboring city. And here we're discussing the economics of politics. There's a reader, if you can see, everyone has a paper on their desks. And if you look at the setting, is that everyone can see everyone. And the other thing is there is no hierarchy. So no one is on a higher pedestal. No one has the final say. And we have a very firm, reason-based discussion. And everyone at the end of the day learns something. So there's no final learning. So there's no final truth in a colloquium. But the most important fact that I've seen when people attended these sessions, and when I was moderating most of these sessions, is that they feel liberated. They feel more aware about the kind of world they want to see. They feel more educated about the political economy of their countries. And we discuss topics, a wide range of topics, one of which is, are vices crimes, right? I mean, have you ever asked this question, is a vice a crime? And we sit down and, let's discuss. Or why is there Uberization of the world? Or these are, these may look as very complex things, but they have very, very simple explanations. And we try to reason that out and discuss. And through these sessions, one of the things that we have created, and in my own personal story of doing these sessions, every new colloquium, I learn something new. Most of my learnings have been through doing these sessions and moderating these sessions and helping people, young people, to find the ideas of liberty, but also to become more aware about the topics the discussions that are happening around. So I'll just take you further to it. And then when I was I did some colloquiums and I felt more confident about myself, I started to think that why not create a community? And this was one of our goals as SFLers or Students for Liberty leaders, is to create a community of leaders of liberty. And our prime approach, and if you can see the screen and from my t-shirt, is free expression and no exceptions, is to allow people to express themselves, and one of the best ways to do that is through a Socratic method, because you don't have huge logistics. When you're organizing a conference, you have to sort of think about the speaker, the microphone, the scheduling, and so on and so forth. But a colloquium does not require all that nitty-gritties. It merely requires a paper, if sometimes not even that, and a group of people to sit and discuss. So then I started that why not we take this forward in more college campuses? And we have been doing this across South Asia. I was part of the academics team last year, which is where my task was to kind of equip people on how to moderate a colloquium. And one of the things I found out was a colloquium allows you to talk to people who think unlike you. So there are 12 people in the room. There'll be 13 different opinions. And when you engage in a dialogue where you're not defending your own interests, but you're essentially reasoning out, you learn something at the end of the day. I learned so many things, and everyone learns. At the end of the colloquium, we have something called a debrief, where everyone says what they have learned, how they felt when they spoke, and why did they feel different. So this is what we've been doing at Students for Liberty, and something that has changed my life as a person, because my college was extremely difficult. I mean, in terms of learning, I learned little to nothing. But when I joined this community, I came closer to the idea of how shared knowledge can take the young people, or can make us feel more confident about ourselves. And it's not just about that session of the colloquium. After every colloquium, we become friends, we become a community, and then slowly there are many people who have joined SFL. In fact, most of the leaders from Mumbai, which is the Mumbai chapter I belong to, have been people who have come for a colloquium. They were so excited about it that they said, you know what, I want to join this organization. I want to do this because I feel liberated. I don't want to feel that I'm not being heard, which more often than not happens in a college environment or a classroom environment. So because of SFL Mumbai organizing so many colloquiums and organizing these discussions, this year we were fortunate enough and alhamdulillah blessed to be nominated course, we didn't win it, but we are still in the process as the Global Group of the Year category. It's a huge achievement. And I think part of that achievement goes to the people you see on the screen, and there are many more. I could not get the picture. And also the idea of interacting with people. I think what turned out for all of these people to join Students for Liberty is the platform that we use to convey our ideas. It was a platform of doing colloquia. We never sort of trusted our idea, but because we believe in liberty, because we believe in free speech, we decided, let's persuade people through reason. Let them become more intellectually sound through discussing these ideas in a colloquium setup. So I'll just talk to you more about this. Is that last year, because of my interest in colloquium, I stumbled upon this event in this another colloquium organized by the Property and Environment Research Center in Bozeman, in Montana, in the western state in US. And one of the things that changed my life, and all my learnings have been through these colloquium setups. So I've been continuously talking about this, and the value of this is a picture of me along with everyone, the wonderful people at the Property and Environment Research Center. We had a colloquium, and these are all colloquium participants there. It was a 5-day colloquium, and there were many readings, and part of the colloquium was also some outings to actually see. So this colloquium was about the idea of free market environmentalism, the idea of property rights helping environmentalism. Now, this is going to be slightly, different from everything that some of the previous speakers have talked about. I learned the idea that, and this is where I became very passionate about the idea of environmentalism. But my kind of environmentalism does not see people as the problem. We've been having this entire sort of dialogue across social media platforms because of COVID happening that we are the virus. I don't think we are the virus. I think in an anthropocentric world, the best way to achieve conservation is to allow technology and people and local communities to participate in environmentalism. And why would they do that? They would simply do that when they feel that they have a stake in that. So for example, tribal and forest communities in India should have property rights that they will take care of the surroundings. So, the idea of free market environmentalism isn't about markets taking over and polluting the environment. It can be fundamentally different if we realign the structure and talk about these issues in terms of incentives and gains that ordinary people have out of preserving the environment. I think there is a very good moral argument to make that the environment, there's an entire hysterical argument that people make, the argument of pessimism, that the world is going to end. That's okay. Alarmism to some extent is okay, but hysteria and pessimism is not. And when we talk to people about environmentalism, normal people, ordinary people, they don't want to know the higher moral pedestal of being, of being a good environmentalist. They want to know is how can they be incentivized, or how can farmers, local communities be incentivized to protect the wildlife. They'll only do so when they see the wildlife as a source of incentive, and sort of at the protection of wildlife as a source of incentive for them. So in my opinion, I think this is something that I've learned through the colloquium, through the Socratic method, and that has changed my life so much that I've become a huge proponent of this idea of free market environmentalism. And that happened because of a Socratic setting where I questioned myself, my ideas, and the fundamental beliefs that I had. And because of so many challenging reasons that people gave, that I changed and understood the value of what a free discourse leads you to. So this has been the story of how I transitioned from being an argumentative college kid to someone who loves to reason, not primarily to argue. So I'll just share my next this thing. Yeah. So this is a picture of the Students for Liberty advanced leadership team. back in 2019 in January, and this is the event that we were part of, LibertyCon. Um, our colloquium series, we did a series of colloquium across South Asia, and we engaged college campuses and young people to come and speak. And our tagline to do that, and something that we focused on, was thinking better together. Something as simple as that. And when people see that, they come, you know what, this is a place where I think I would not be put down simply because someone else has a bigger ego, and is louder than me. I think that's where people came. They discussed the idea of liberty. Not everyone kind of agreed with us, but we saw people who came for the second time solely because the idea of doing a Socratic seminar was something so new to people. It gave them hope, it gave them encouragement, gave them an agency to express themselves. And I think one of the fundamental ways in which my life has been transitioned is that today my job is precisely, today the place which I work with, the Center for Civil Society, is precisely because of my experience in Students for Liberty. And my experience in Students for Liberty, a huge chunk of it was about organizing, conducting these sessions. They gave me a sense of agency, they gave me a sense of freedom, and they gave me an entire new community to call my as my family, and these people are part of that. So I think what fundamentally matters in, and what my story has been, it is the story of how we can create change through people and ideas, and when we mix them, we become a community of individuals. um, and because of the COVID situation, you must be wondering what happened to these on ground physical sort of Socratic um, sessions. So we decided, uh, where I'm working currently, I was fortunately given the task of conducting colloquiums within the organization that I work with, which is the Center for Civil Society. And because of COVID-19 coming to the picture, I said we have to do something about it, because this is something that I fundamentally value. We pivoted those programs into online programs. So we decided to let's do e-colloquiums. And what we could do with that was we were able to scale the event to many people around the world who would join us for the colloquium and for the discussion, primarily on various issues. We discussed the economics of politics, we discussed politics without romance, we discussed the limits of democracy. During all these discussions, the only feedback, and something that I've felt very good about, is when people come back to you and tell you that I really enjoyed this and I want to do another colloquium, I want to join in for the next one. And as a moderator, and my task was to ensure that the discussion goes on. Of course, mine was not the final word. As a moderator, I felt extremely happy that we are able to do something quite different. And yeah, that has been the story. um Quick sort of sliding into the marketing part of it is that we have another e-colloquium or a Socratic seminar that's coming up on terracotta environmentalism. Again, that's something I value. It's Center for Civil Society, where we discuss about bridging the market and the green approach to environmentalism. I think the speakers before me have talked about markets. I have talked about the idea of environmentalism, and I think fundamentally that any environmental action has to have people as the center of the action, and people should not be sacrificed. Rather, they should be incentivized to protect the environment. And we would love to have all of you join in for this colloquium and apply for this. And it'll be great to meet you again, and for the Socratic method of learning that I absolutely love and enjoy. So this has been my story, but my individual story has a lot to do with the stories of every individual whom one way or the other I have impacted. And I think we have to continue this conversation through these platforms. Thank you so much for inviting me, and it was wonderful. I apologize for the minor error in between. There was a technical glitch on my end. Thank you everyone at Merit Pokhara. And Sanjay? Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Anas, for your valuable time and sharing us the idea of leadership and liberty. So, if you have any questions for Anas, then please type in the chat box or you can add. So, I think we don't have any questions for you, Anas.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here with us and sharing your speech with us. All right, moving forward, the session has been really so interesting, and it seems like we are almost at the end of the session now. Now, I would like to call Sergeant Hasmukh Dahinia from USA, and he would be our last speaker. He is here with us on the behalf of Wall Merit New York Council. Sarjan is the president of Wall Merit New York and brought us on the start of US branch of the organization. And he has worked to secure funding and new imaging for the organization. So let's welcome him and hear his impactful stories. So over to you, Sarjan.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I want to say that all of you guys have inspired me. I am ready to get back outside with my mask on and get to work. I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you for everyone who has helped put this together and who reached out to me to be a part of this. I really, really appreciate it. And to all of my fellow speakers, I commend all of you and I thank you guys for your insight, for your visions, and for your call to actions. Really and truly, that's what this whole thing is. So I'm not going to speak for a very long time because I'm at the end and I know we're all anxious to get up and get working and figure out the rest of our day and get the weekend rolling. So I want to just briefly talk about what World Merit New York is and what I'm hoping to bring to light and what I've started working on. So back in September during UN Week, I was asked if I would be able to help start World Merit New York. And of course, I said yes. I jumped at the opportunity. I am someone who loves to help. I'm someone who enjoys seeing the fruits of your labor pan out for others. I'm very, very blessed in my life. And I think that as people, it's our job to, when we enter and we walk through a door, it's our job to hold that door open for someone else, to give opportunities to other people, to keep making sure that everyone has the equal opportunity to do what we do. So I really, really believe in children. That is my biggest passion, and that's what I'm hoping to drive World Merit New York towards. So children to me they're innocent. You know, they have no control over what they're born into. They have no control over their socioeconomic status. They have no control over what they're eating. It's all what their parents are, and it's hard to be a child sometimes because I think now more than ever, children are robbed of their innocence in terms of the technology and all that we live in. Though there are great advances in it and it can help people, I think that we sometimes forget that children are children and they need to go outside and have fun and enjoy being young. And I think kids are growing up faster than ever. And sometimes I just want to preserve that youth that they have. So the biggest thing that I've launched is since COVID-19 forced New York City to shut down overnight. I mean, it was one day we were out working and then the next it was done. You know, everything went online and we were not allowed to leave our homes. So we designed a whole project with feeding children. So I don't know how it is in other countries, but a child in a school in New York or in the US, they are fed a meal, whether it's breakfast or lunch, and they might have a snack in between. And sometimes that is the only thing that child will have to eat that day. They will not, get to eat at home, or they may not have the resources to eat at home. And so if schools are shutting down, then that child might go that whole day without eating. And so I partnered with Costco, which is a huge retailer and a food distributor. And I said, is there a way that we can set up a stand or something at these schools for children to be able to come by and to pick up a meal and to go home with or something? And unfortunately, things were just getting worse and worse in New York, and so that wasn't able to come. So instead, what I did was I sent out to all the public schools information on where to go if you need food, where to go if you might not have the resources at home. So the public schools then compiled the information I sent them, and they sent it out to all the parents and distributed it to all the kids. So that way they will hopefully find something to eat. And I'm a firm believer that there's plenty in this world. There's plenty of food, there's plenty of resources. It just needs to be distributed properly. And that is our job, to make sure that it is distributed properly. So I also just want to say to everyone who spoke before me, thank you guys so much. I hope that we continue this work. I'm so grateful to be a part of World Merit New York. I'm so happy that this is actually happening. That's our first project that we're working on, and we're still working on it. I think this whole virus has put everything on hold, but it's not going to stop me. So we're going to keep going. And I just want to commend all of you. I'm so grateful to be here. And words that I heard growing up to me, and I just want to leave you guys on this note, is that I was always told, no matter who you want to be, no matter what you want to be, no matter where you want to go, and no matter what you want to do, don't give up on you, and that anything is possible. And whenever you face adversity, embrace it. Whenever you feel like you're in fear, be fearless. Go forward, keep pushing. And this time we are so wound up. We are so scared of what tomorrow will bring. And I'm so, so grateful to be here and to inspire you all, and to hope that we can move forward. And one morning we're going to wake up and this whole virus is going to be over, and we're going to be able to go back outside and live our lives again. But in the meantime, I hope that we can still do events like this. And I thank all of you for being here, and thank you for having me. So I appreciate all of you, and I hope you all have a beautiful weekend and a lovely afternoon.
Thank you so much, Sachin, for your time and being here with us. So now we are almost at the end of the session. So if you have any queries for Sachin, then please you can write on a chat box, or you can ask him. I think we don't have any questions for you, Sachin. So, well, now sorry for the disturbance. Now we are almost at the end of the session, and I would like to thank all of the speakers for providing their valuable time to us despite of their busy schedule. Now I would like to call a man behind the event, the president of Merit Pokhara, Sanjay Bhandari, and request him to deliver a thank you speech and formally end the session. Now with this, I would like to say goodbye to you all. Thank you so much once again. Namaste.
Okay, thank you so much, Srishti. I'll just be using my audio as I'm connecting you guys from a very rural zone. So it's near to peaceful Pokhara, but still, so we got a really weaker network here. Maybe all of you can hear me well. So once again, namaste from Pokhara, guys. I'm super glad to connect and hear all the amazing leaders from different nations, and thank you so much for doing an incredible job for humanity. And also thank you so much for accepting our invitation in such a short time and to share your inspirational impact stories today. This is 24th July, and so a very happy World Merit Day once again. So today the network of meditors is spread all over the world, and we are really content to be part of this group. As Sajan, Carlo, and everybody else said, so we're also so content to be the part of this positive impacts that we have created together. in different parts of the world. Uh, I guess I'll need another solo session to tell all of my stories. Apart from that joke, my personal journey with Merit Pokora and World Merit as a whole has been really interesting one, filled with like tons of challenges, failures, and of course the zeal of positive progress. And of course that created so much of happiness in me. And it won't be like pragmatic to share every moments or incidents here at this webinar, but still I'm obliged to highlight few of them. So like 2.5 years back, we registered this LMC Merit Pokora in Social Welfare Council here in Nepal, and then started different campaigns, programs to address the most pressing issues that we were facing in our like nation or in our region. So in this 2 years journey, we did so many programs and created like notable and visible impact in our locality. Currently we're running 4 major campaigns, and like first one is enlightening the ruler, that is center or focused at the rural zones of our like nearby districts here. And the second one is unfolding chapters, so for tech and IT students. And similarly third one is empowering through army. And also the fourth campaign is securing Nepali cyberspace, as our like nation is facing so many cyber attacks. And so we're also trying to cope up with the government sectors and government authorities to like just fight back against all these issues that we're facing. So far we have been regarding partnership for the goals as the main goal required to achieve the remaining 16 global goals. So our programs and all the details can be viewed from our website, or if you guys do not get to know more about our programs from website, then you can easily connect us via other social channels of ours. And so as we got to know so many like campaigns being run by our fellow change makers, they support one another to make this world a better place to live in, not just for us, but for all the creators. And let's not panic, but have prayers so that we can combat any obstacles in our way. So to know more about the campaigns of our fellow speakers, so they just spell to this session, but still if you want to get involved or know more about those campaigns and programs, or just you want to connect those speakers, then you guys can just send an email to info@meritpokora.org.np, or you can also connect us via our social channels like in Facebook page, Instagram. We're also in Twitter. So any way you can that is suitable for you. So finally, let's be happy to create a much happier world, and let's act together. So let's act something beautiful to create bigger impacts. With our small efforts, we can create bigger impacts, and but we just need to be together. Anyway, so thank you so much for being here. So once again, thank you to all the speakers who provided their time despite their busy schedules and everything. So thank you so much, everyone. So happy World Merit Day once again. So, and we end this session here. Thank you so much, everyone.